This is Juan of the Wagon, and today we will be installing cabinetry. So I got pre-made cabinetry from Hampton Bay. So this is sold at Home Depot. It is 30 length, width is 12 by 12, and the height of it. So that's actually perfect for us. We decided to get 2 of these, and then we also got handles at Home Depot as well. The reason why we're deciding not to build our own cabinetry is because this really saves us on time. So we spent, what was it again? Like 100?
116 on everything, including
116
the hardware.
everything. So something important to mention though is that we had to buy special cabinetry latches. I'm gonna link that down in the description below. And then we also have latches for our pots and pans and heavier stuff that when you close it, it self latches. Another option I've seen, there's so many options when it comes to door locks. And you can have ones that you have to manually lock. You have ones that you close it and it locks. You have magnetic locks. You have child locks. You have ones that are magnets that you put the magnet against it and then that releases an interior lever. The options are so extensive. You can even use just a bungee cord. Why we opted to do that is because it was cheap, but it also had good force rating. You really want to think about when you're making those big turns, and you're going to want a latch that you're not going to forget to close. So a really good example is the toilet. Now obviously we don't have a way of securing that now, but just imagine we had that on a regular door latch. You have to remember to do that every time you leave. So for us, simplicity is really important, especially when things can go flying all over the place, especially if you have heavier stuff. This has a little bit of a force to it, but it's not going to be enough for anything that's heavy like dishware or anything like that. I personally wouldn't recommend a magnet unless you know it's a really strong earth magnet, and earth magnets can be anywhere between $8 to $15 per magnet, and then you'd have to have a way to either inlay it or put it on the inside of the cabinetry so you don't see it. For us, it's just going to be so much easier to do it that way. And you also have the ability to just go ahead and paint this. We're going to be using milk paint because it's a really sustainable, nice option, and they have a bunch of different colors that you can pick from, and we're going to be painting the trim and as well as the core. We also got this as well, so it's a 4-piece bath accessory kit. We're going to be using this bar on the bottom of our cabinetry to hang up towels and stuff, and then we also bought some other stuff as well. We bought coat hangers, and then we bought the drywall stud anchors. So we're going to be attaching those to the furring strips. So we're going to explain what we're going to do, and then we're going to show you what we've done. So what we're going to do is we measure from here to here. You divide that answer by half, and then you get the middle. So once you have the middle, you mark it, and then you go from there and then measure the width. And then so you have the width, then you divide by half, and that gives you right where you're supposed to put it, and then you put it in the middle, and then you figure out the bracketing. We'll show that also. You definitely want to pre-drill with this kind of thing. So we pre-drilled the marked holes, and then as I mentioned, we're going to show this because this is a lot of talking and not showing, but I figured I'd explain what we're doing first. And so you can also have the option of putting it this way or inner or outer depending on how you want it. And
So this was the first handle that I did. I did the method of finding the middle on the back here and finding the middle again. I wanted to move it over just a little bit just because of this. I felt like it would feel better being a little bit more in, and we wouldn't knock our knuckles against the other side. So I'm going off of these measurements for all of the other ones. So I have the screws at 6 3/8 and 3 3/8 right here. And then over here, I have it at 3/4 of an inch. So I moved it 1/4 of an inch over from middle. So now all I have to do over here is I need a pencil. Measure it out 6 3/8 and 3 3/8. And then other way.
You're also gonna want to make sure to get yourself a level to make sure that the handles are nice and level.
Yeah, we're using Jonah's phone because on the iPhones it has a level app.
I have a level and it's a really tiny one and it's easy to lose, so I have no idea where it is.
I would strongly recommend getting yourself like a good level. That's
like
highly rated, because some levels are off a little bit somehow, even though it's just a bubble.
Yeah, I've had some really garbagey levels.
Yeah. I'm also using a 9/64 drill bit to drill the pilot hole. And you have to have a pilot hole because these are flat.
Oh, I do want to mention something else. So with this particular handle kit, it'll come with 4 total. So these 2 longer ones, or if you pick cabinetry that's a little bit thicker. But as you can see, our cabinetry is pretty thin. So we were able to fit with the smaller ones. But it's nice that they give you a variety pack, but they strip really easily.
This is really soft metal. And you can see this, one of the first screws that we did, it stripped really bad, and you can see the edges. I had to use pliers to get it the rest of the way in. So that was just like an annoying thing. I'm going, here we go. I just wanted to use a straight edge to make sure that these holes are in the right place.
Do you want to get on my level now? I'll close the video.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so I installed the towel holder, and so what I did is I screwed this in by hand, just like about like a little past the bracket, like a 1/4 inch. So then I pressed it into the wood to leave a mark to know where to put it on both sides. And this is just a cover that you could snap off. They look like little buttons to cover up the screw heads. Here, let me just wait for that focus. Okay, there you are. And then I did the same thing on the other side, where I left the mark by going past the bracket on both sides, and I pressed in firmly, and then I knew where to put that. And this is gonna go over by the bedside, because if it's over by the other side, closer towards the passenger side, then we will end up smacking our face in a towel every time. So something else to note is that these are latches right here that are based on pressure. This is the best that I personally felt like I could find. Here, just hold on one second, and then I'll show you guys what I mean. So this latch mechanism right here, see how it holds it, and I have to pull it out really hard. So if we had a frame right here in the middle, you would affix it to the frame like that, and then if the doors opened in a different direction, then you'd be able to do it that way. What we'll have to do is put ours on the trim. So you see how there's this little thin piece of ply right here? We're gonna have to go in here and then line that up like that. And then when you pull on the door, like, it'll add that pressure latch. And these are actually really cheap. I'll have a description link in the box below. I'm not an affiliate link or anything, so I'm not getting anything for this. We also have some other latches as well that I discussed. I figured I'd show you guys what they look like. They're these nice antiqued brasses that when you close the door, they automatically spring into places. You could see the springing action right there. I saw really good reviews on these. And that's it for the latches. So what we're doing now is we are installing these latches. And what I did is I closed the door. I lined it up right towards the edge. Something that's interesting about this cabinetry is it has a small little gap right in the middle. So something you want to be careful about is, where is it? I'm going to just use this one as an example. But when you put it flush to there, you won't be able to open up your cabinetry. So we had to space these apart a little more. So for example, when this is in, instead of this getting stuck behind the cabinetry right over here, it'll be right over here, and then you'll be able to use that and then pull it back. So here, I'll show you. And that's definitely something you want to keep in mind. Don't know where the other one went, but we had to use 2 of these instead of 1 because 1 was not enough pressure to hold in dishes. Like, this is a lot stronger. Like, you can see the way I'm pulling. For example, this is just too easy to come out, especially if you have a little bit more in your cabinetry. If you have a lot of stuff, what I'd recommend is to either put more of these little stops or to even get just a stronger mechanism in general, especially because you're doing this for travel. Okay, now I'm done.
Okay, so we are putting the cabinetry up. We got these drywall and stud anchors. So most anchors that you see in the hardware store are made of plastic, and they're made for drywall specifically. Get ones that are also made for studs because they'll be made of metal and they'll be a lot more sturdy, and it'll actually go through the wood. So the package comes with the studs and the screws that go into the studs, the anchors and the screws that go into the anchors. And if you have good anchors, then you won't need to drill for them. You can just screw it into the wall. Once we put in the anchors, then we will be screwing into the cabinetry to attach it to the anchors.
Something important to mention is that we lined up the cabinetry to the end of this 2x4, and then we put a line to know where it is. And then you also want to be aware of where your first strips are, so you make sure that the anchor itself is in the first strip and not just the tongue and groove.
Yeah, we know where our first strips are because of these screws and because we have these L brackets right here.